countries that we've killed or wounded or made homeless. Mm-hmm. And it's an ongoing sore. It's not your sore from the USS Liberty. It's not my sore from Vietnam. Both of us have those. Both of us care about it. But this is an ongoing, this is an open wound. And what Americans need to understand is they did it. Mm-hmm. They did it. And if they do understand that, Israel's going to disappear. Israel will flat-ass disappear from this earth. If I sent a film to one of my colleagues, and it basically had Americans grieving over their dead coming back. Mm-hmm. And I showed one of them. It was a woman just wrenched by grief, over her dead soldier. Mm-hmm. And I said, if Americans ever know that Israel did this, they're going to scrub them off the earth, and they're not going to give a rat's ass, forgive my language, what the cost is. They are not going to care. They will do it.
Alan,
they should.
Alan, your article and your heart and your testimony and what you believe in is heart-wrenching to me. It is like our founding fathers in their shadows talking and saying, we have to fix this. We have to make our own way, and we have to do it now or we will go down.
Exactly. And absolutely, Phil. I agree fully.
Your article needs to be shipped off to the Library of Congress immediately.
Well, I can tell you it's being read by some people in headquarters Marine Corps and at the Army War College. I sent it off to them this past week, and I've had some long discussions with people up there, and there are some really, really unhappy people.
What are they saying? If you can talk about that, Dr. Sabrosky, I'm curious.
Astonishment. Okay. The first thing, Mark, is astonishment. They didn't know. They truly didn't know, and these are not unintelligent people. They really didn't know. And the next statement is rage, real rage, and the Zionists are playing this as truly an all or nothing exercise, because if they lose this one,
that's it.
If the American people ever realize what's happened, they're done.
That's it.
And I will tell you frankly, I don't think either one of you has any Jewish ancestry. I do. I have one grandparent who's Jewish. As Phil Weiss from Mondo Weiss and I were talking about it, he's a Jewish guy who puts a lot of critical stuff out there on Israel. Mm-hmm. And I said, for the Orthodox rabbinate, I'm not a Jew. Mm-hmm. For the Nazis, I've been there.
Right.
And if this explodes, I'm going to go down with the rest of them.
Right.
And I know this. I flat out know this. Mm-hmm. But if that was the price for making America whole again, when I took my oath 51 years ago to the United States Marine Corps, no one promised us life. No one did. Mm-hmm. They promised us duty and loyalty and service and maybe death. Mm-hmm. And that's how they talked to us in 1959. I don't think they talk to them that way anymore. But in 1959 they did. And if my death were a requirement for the saving of America, well, hell, I could have died in Vietnam.
Right.
It's my service, my country, my Corps. And Phil, it's like you in the Navy. We signed on to this, and we love our service, and none of us wishes to die. I mean, certainly I don't. I don't think either one of you guys do. But if that's the price, then that's the price I pay. I mean that.
Alan, when you're talking about Marines, I have the utmost respect, and I know your duty to country, and when the torpedo hit our ship, and I opened up the scuttle, guess who I pulled out of there? United States Marine named Bryce Lockwood, and he was holding on to another sailor and saved his life, and he received a Silver Star. And God bless him for that. And I understand wholeheartedly what's in your heart, because I have it in my heart. I didn't learn it by becoming a sailor as such, but I learned it through the grace of God for saving our ship. I learned it through scholars like you. I've learned it through good friends like Mark Glenn and my shipmates, and I've learned it through actions of Israel. And when you struck me very, very hard just a second ago when you talked about 911, you're very willing to say that, yeah, they did it, 911. Yes, they did. And you know, my heart broke, and I saw that plane, the last one, go into the tower. And to see that, I mean, I know it's in your heart, Mark's, and everybody else's, to see your fellow Americans being slaughtered and murdered just as they did the USS Liberty. Alan, it is something that if we don't talk about it, if we don't tell people about it, I believe God wants us to. I believe God wants us to, and if we don't, shame on us.
Well, it's not just that.
I agree very much on that side, and I'll tell you, if you know, I have a dream, as Martin Luther King Jr. once said, you know, and my dream is that the 5th and 6th U.S. fleets take Israel and cream it.
Well, you know what? Just for the record,
and that's the end of it.
Just for the record,
absolutely.
Just for the record, Dr. Sabrosky, it was about 3 years ago, and I can remember distinctly. I was on a radio program, and this was in the run-up to the reunion that the Liberty guys were going to be having in D.C. And I made a prediction on the air that I believed with all my heart at the time, and I believe with all my heart now. But someday, some way, I don't know exactly how it's going to happen. I have my suspicions, but someday and some way, maybe a lot sooner than any of us realize, the United States is going to find herself at war with Israel, and I mean a real live shooting war. Now, technically speaking, we are at war with her because she is at war with us. She is out to destroy us. We just haven't figured it out yet. My personal prediction is that probably, again, sooner than any of us realize or would like to envision, Israel is going to pull off another 9/11. She's going to pull off another USS Liberty. Obviously, some pretty powerful people in some pretty prominent places, such as Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff Mike Mullen, believe that this is a possibility because he cut short a trip that he had made to Europe a few years ago to hastily fly to Israel to meet with his counterpart and warn him in no uncertain terms how important it was that there not be another USS Liberty Part 2. So, and as far as what you two fellows were just talking about, that we need to talk about this, I'm going to offer another theory here for discussion. We would already have had that 9/11 Part 2 or that USS Liberty Part 2. That would already have been a fait accompli were it not for the fact that a growing number of people have been talking about this problem now for the last, since 9/11. I think that Israel has been watching all of this and has been saying we need to kind of let things cool down a little bit for now. If we pull another one off, try to pull another one off right now, then that's it. We're going to blow our cover. So
it's not only a matter of blowing our cover. If Americans ever truly understand that, their history, you know, it'll be a bloody, brutal war, and they're gone. Mm-hmm. I mean, this is it's not even going to be a close contest.
Well,
and they know that, and what they understand, I think, as well, is that their leverage is on the political appointments. Mm-hmm. Their leverage is not in the uniformed services. There are lots. If you pick up the Army Times or the Navy Times or any of the journals of any of the services, you get a very different view than you get